Hi, this is your online instruction for the Columbus cartoon. We have just finished a couple weeks ago a Martin Luther cartoon. Mr. Herman and I have gone through those, and at the time of you watching this video, they will have been graded. You will probably see some sort of explanation or information about how you could improve your cartoon. And so we're gonna give you another shot at this. So I'm gonna go through the directions, and hopefully you'll be able to come up with something special for this Columbus activity. So, in the tab that is listed Q4 Week 4 Columbus cartoon, you will see the reading that I'm going to look at through my document camera. And you don't necessarily have to actively read this, but I do want to make some things quite clear about the article before we go too far. If you notice, the title, Eric Chasm wrote this particular article. The title is called Columbus Day, True Legacy, Cruelty, and Slavery. So this right here, this really fancy X or question mark here is going to make me think: is Columbus Day good or bad? Okay, it's kind of what we're trying to figure out here. So the whole article is just a couple of paragraphs. I'm going to read it to you, and we can kind of go from there. It says, question: why do we honor a man if he were alive today would almost certainly be sitting on death row awaiting execution? If you'd like to know the true story about Christopher Columbus, please read on, but I warn you, it's not for the faint of heart. First of all, Columbus wasn't the first European to discover America. The Viking, Leif Erikson, founded a Norse village on Newfoundland, Canada, some 500 years earlier. This right here is a really important connection. Okay? We know that the Vikings definitely landed in North America. Okay? Super, super important. We know that. Okay. He goes on to say, Happy Leif Erikson Day. But if you think about it, the whole concept of discovering America is, well, arrogant. After all, the Native Americans discovered North America 14,000 years before Columbus was even born. So, something to think about. Okay, going on. When Columbus landed, he commented often in his journal about the kind-hearted natives. He was so impressed with the hard work of the gentle island people he met that he immediately seized their land for Spain. Oh, I'm going to underline that. He immediately seized their land for Spain and enslaved them to work in brutal gold mines. Oh, good Columbus. What a great guy. Oh, within only 2 years, 125,000, half of the population of the original natives on the island of Hispaniola were dead. So one half of the population kicked the bucket. Columbus killed him. Okay, so you could kind of make a little skull and crossbones here. Because one half of the population dead. Oops. Oh my goodness, Miss Lederer, you think you haven't been in school. Okay, going on. Columbus forced natives to work in his gold mines until they died of exhaustion. Ooh, that's how they died. If an Indian worker did not deliver his full quota of gold dust by Columbus's deadline, soldiers would cut off the man's hands and tie them around his neck to leave a message. Okay? Now, this word right here, quota, this is a daily amount. Okay? So they had to turn in a certain amount of gold every day in order for Columbus to not kill them or cut off their hands. Yay, Columbus. On his second trip to the New World, Columbus brought cannons, ooh, nice, and attack dogs. If a native resisted slavery, he would cut off their nose and ear. If slaves tried to escape, Columbus had them burned alive. Other times, he sent the attack dogs to hunt them down, and the dogs would tear off their arms and legs. We have a day. We have a Columbus Day, people. Okay, continuing on. Hopefully, let's get this situated here. Okay, a little bit more here. Columbus's acts of cruelty were so unspeakable and so legendary, even in his own day, that Governor Francisco Barbella arrested Columbus and his two brothers and shipped them to Spain to answer for their crimes against the Indians. But the king and queen of Spain, their treasury filling up with gold, pardoned Columbus. We know this means set free, and let him go. Money driving someone's decision making. Think about that. Columbus's reign of terror was one of the darkest chapters in our history. Okay? The real question then is, why celebrate a holiday to honor this man? So that's the question. So why should we do that? So our goal here is to create a political cartoon based on the information that we have read in this article. Okay? And the best way that I want, and the way that I want you to do this, is to use an idiom to help you out. So if you notice, I have put into this document right here, this website, okay? It says, please use the following website to help you. And this is a list of commonly used idioms that I want you to choose one to help you make your Columbus cartoon. And so up is going to kind of pop up a list of idioms that you can use. If you find one on here, or if you think of one that is not on here, you're more than welcome to use that. But please make sure that your idiom, you're using an idiom that is commonly understood, or something that Mr. Herman and I will know the answer to. So you're going to click on here, you're going to click on this website, and you're going to choose an idiom, and then you're going to create a cartoon based on that idiom. Now, in order to understand that, I'm going to kind of help you out here, and I'm going to use, I'm going to draw one of my own to try and give you an example. Now, please remember, number one, you cannot use the idiom that I use as my example. You just can't do it. And secondly, your cartoon really needs to be in color so that we can see it and especially be able to read it. Some of your last cartoons, they were good, but we just couldn't read what you wrote. And so it was really hard for us to understand. So I'm going to write the idiom at the top of my paper so that my teacher, in this case me, would know what idiom I'm using. And I'm going to use it cost an arm and a leg. Okay? So that's going to be the idiom that I'm going to use to symbolize Columbus's exploitation of natives. Okay? And so down here, I would draw a picture, okay, and you would draw a little bit better. Maybe a picture with a man with one arm and then kind of a half arm, and one leg and kind of a half leg. And he, or maybe in this hand, he has his other leg. Okay. And so he's handing his leg to Columbus, and we would give him a funny Columbus hat. Okay. And we'll give them like these sad expressions here. Okay. And Columbus is going to be accepting the leg. And the man may say, "This is all I have." And Columbus may say, "One leg, that will do as tribute." Okay. Now, granted, you're going to want to do a whole bunch of other things. You may have like a whole bunch of other people here giving up different body parts. You may have Columbus and a whole bunch of other people over here. Obviously, I'm just doing this real quick to kind of help you out to understand. But you need to use an idiom to help the reader of your cartoon understand how you are, what your opinion is about Columbus. Okay, so hopefully this helped. Hopefully you'll be able to understand a little clearer what Mr. Herman and I want. Make sure that you go back and look at your cartoons from Martin Luther. Use that information that we gave you about those cartoons to help you make better cartoons about Columbus. And remember, if you still have any questions, you can always get a hold of Mr.